Hey, my beautiful peeps, Lockin down the truth with Marci Lock, sharing a little bit of the beach time. I'm getting my feet in the sand. I love it, feels so good. And it came out and I'm watching all the surfers kind of jump in last minute before the sun goes down. I love it. And the reason I wanted to share was I had someone that messaged me and said, you're always talking about effortless and life being effortless. Can you explain what does that mean? How is that even possible, right? And I get it, because really that's so absurd and different for the norm. And it exactly reflects so many truths that most people never tap into. And that, 19 out of 20 people are failing at getting what they want. What does that 1 out of 20 know that allows them to get what they want? Why is it that less than 1% are the creators of the world and literally have all the money? Why is it that there's this small percentage who live differently? Like Mark Twain says, when you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect. Well, so even the majority is what seems normal, is that life is kind of an either or game. Life is either I can have this or that. I can either have the business or the body or the relationships or the business, because we think that, there's a hardness to it. There's a struggle and there's a strive for things, a fight, a battle, a settle, a sacrifice. We've been taught and trained this our entire lives. So of course it would be crazy to think, that life is effortless. And so this is I want to kind of give some context or some background to this and why this is possible. So there's there's different stages of life that you go through. When you're first born, think about it, how you are literally just in this process of being you. Like life happens as you. You're literally like, I am crawling, I am running, I am playing with my hands. I am, like you're in life as you, and you're all about creating yourself, because all you know is to be in the present experience. So you're like, do I like Legos? Let me see if I like Legos. Oh, I don't like Legos. Let me see if I like this. And you're just as you experiencing things. Well, as we start to get a little bit older, age 1, 2, 3, etc., we start to see life through the conformity, the conditioning, the training that we're being given, which is life happens to me. So it's like you have to go to the babysitters, we're doing this, and you start to feel a little bit maybe out of control, more like a victim, that life is happening to you. Well, those who choose to become aware and conscious start to understand that life doesn't happen to them, life happens from them, meaning I choose my perceptions about the world, which is why I experience what I do. I choose the words that I use, I choose the feelings that I have, I choose to take the actions that I do. In every single circumstance, I am in total choice and control of what I choose, which means life happens from me. Whatever I focus on or look for in the world is what I find, etc. And so it's like, as we recognize that we are the creator of our experience, that means everything external is from our internal world and we create it. Now, most people stop here. Instead of going to the phase that I describe as life happens through me. There's a bigger awareness and consciousness here, because what happens is when we're just in control, even as a creator, great that we're in control, but what we don't recognize is there's so much more that we don't know and understand. There's a greater knowing, a greater good, greater pieces of the puzzle. You might have inspiration and to do something, and it's for something you don't even know is a piece or part of something bigger than you, or you get guided to something and it leads you to something that you could have never even imagined. That's the greater releasing of control, that life happens through me, that I'm a piece of this puzzle to the greater good, and I'm relinquishing control. I'm letting control go. Now, what does it take to be in that place is you drop your inner shit, because there's no more judgments or stories of like, well, what if, and oh no, and what will happen, and lack and scarcity and worry. You operate out of faith energy, which is wonderment, curiosity, excitement. So let me give you an example of this. It was probably about 9 months ago, as if you know anything about what's shifted for me in the last year to 9 months ago, was because I was literally sitting there one day and something said to me, it's time to serve the masses. And I was like, interesting. What does that look like? And I just asked, and then literally had this thought, call this person. I was like, okay. So this person I hadn't talked to in years. They'd been through my program years before. And if I operated normally, where I was not in total clear aligned, knowing I'm worthy, not worried about judgment, etc., all these things that we go through in the internal game, I would have been like, oh wait, why would I call this person, and what's it about, and what if they think this? Or instead I was like, okay, I messaged the person right away. I'm like, hey, you just came up for me, I'd love to connect. They're like, oh, I'm open right now. We jump on the phone, and within 10 minutes had $1 million deal on the table. And it wasn't the $1 million or the money, it was the idea. that was presented to me because I followed this intuition and inspiration to say, go here. So what had come up is that they, basically the idea of corporate wellness, that they were now implementing health programs for huge corporations around the world. And at the time that I knew them, they weren't even doing that. And yet they're like, we went through your program and it massively shifted our lives. We could actually implement your online program now into these corporations. So not only do they create help for the people and save money for the corporations, but I knew it was the greater good was it actually implements all the deep inner stuff that everything is part of my program, that they not only get the body as the bonus because their internal shit's clear, but they get their whole life to shift. How much more could the world and the vibration of the world be lifted up with these massive corporations and all these people having access to clear their inner game and to become creators that are living in this place? That's what I mean by effortless. So one of my personal clients is one of the biggest businesses in the world. And yet people are always like, how'd you get that? They just showed up in my space. Literally, when I am clear and aligned to my level of worth and I'm trusting in myself and all this, these things, I just feel this inspiration and this guidance that these huge things show up for me versus what everyone else is doing in struggle, strive world and fight and battle, etc. is fighting for little stupid shit. And they're in the energy of stupid shit and their energy of hard, which is lack and scarcity, which only creates more resistance. It doesn't have them clear and inflow, lacking in energy, settling and sacrificing in relationships, everything else, and they keep producing stupid little shit. That's it. So when you choose to clear the inner game, you allow yourself to live so clean and clear. Literally, life happens through you and it is effortless. That is how we are designed to be in effortless, to feel so much in alignment. We feel good all the time. When you don't feel good, you're out of alignment to the truth, which is your effortless, powerful creator. So there's one more piece. I know this is long, but there's one more piece to this I want you to hear. The reason I can say creation is effortless is, think about it. If you run up to an apple tree and say, hey, are we in lack and scarcity? Is there lack and scarcity going on? The apple tree's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm going to keep growing apples. Same thing with the grass. Look at how the sun rises every day. Birds are flying. Grass is growing every day. It doesn't ever struggle. The sun's going to rise and set every single day. Now you're sitting here breathing effortlessly. You are creating right now just sitting here and being here because there's an energy vibration that's coming from you. There's thoughts that you're thinking. There's things you're perceiving. There's words you're speaking. All of this is creation. You're doing it effortlessly. So, and you're 37.2 trillion unique cells, meaning you have your own voice box, your own fingerprints, your own toe prints, your own unique gifts and genius. You're that much of a miracle and that much of an effortless creator. So everything you have is what you've been asking for. So when you align to this truth and knowing, if you knew you were wholly complete, wholly worthy, and you loved yourself completely, what would you be experiencing? If you knew you were this, would you be settling or sacrificing or tolerating? No, you'd be fucking flying and accepting and receiving only more love and joy and abundance and awesomeness and passion and sex and peace and harmony and joy and purpose and all the awesomeness in the world because you knew you're worthy of it. So you effortlessly get guided to allowing yourself to discover more of you and share more of you and create more of you, and this value given to the world, you receive the abundance back. That is what I'm talking about being effortless. Hope that shared some amazing thoughts for you to get it. If you want effortless, power of choice is yours, my friend. You can have it. Choose your best life. Lock it down.